Disclaimer. Precision, grace, fancifulness, all things the duelist holds abundantly. Let's take a closer look at this masterpiece of a class, starting with a silly little overview of the abilities. For the Edgebreaker, make sure your in-game thumb is facing upward, and your main hand's palm to the right. The positioning is quite lenient, as you can see here. For Ward, point both weapons downward to your side, and then hug yourself, because as duelist mains, we love ourselves, right? Aww. The second wind, hold your dagger like so, thumb toward yourself, for all three poses. Keep your palm down on your main hand, stretched out to your right. For the second pose, keep your palm facing to the left with your hand in front of your shoulder. While keeping your dagger still, rotate your right hand, palm outwards. Now I'm sure you've noticed by now, the duelist has a long pokey and a tiny pokey, with 3 different ways to do the hokey pokey. Since the Legendary and Main have the same requirements for Awakening, I shall only show Legendary and Legacy. Legendary, the shortest and highest capacity blade, holds a whopping 185 Awakening. To maximize this Awakening, all meters must be filled. The point meter is quite self-explanatory. Point at your victim. Now there is some leeway to the point, so it does not have to be perfect as seen here. Step requires you to bob your head forward and backwards like you mean some right serious business, because you do. This can be accomplished by holding a fencerly squat and swaying forwards and backwards. Not much is required, especially after the first 4 head bobs. Now let's move on to Axis. Axis is acquired by moving your hilt in a circular motion, while moving the tip of your blade less so. Notice my tip is not making as large of a circle as my hilt, and is being kept pointed in my opponent's general direction. It can also be started from any position as seen here. Keep in mind it takes only a small rocking motion to boost the Axis meter. The charge meter simply goes down if you change your axis too often, and will refill on its own if you stop changing axis. That is why it's a good rule of thumb to pause between movements to allow it to refill. The Focus Strike is a basic speed limiter. Do not go too fast and it won't drop. The Legacy Blade is the same length as the main blade, and has the lowest awakening among the 3 blades. Its strength lies with its ability to achieve a higher awakening when going at high speeds versus the other blades. The biggest difference between Legacy's and the other 2 blades' awakening requirements is the lack of the speed-limiting Focus Strike meter on Legacy. On Legacy, you are allowed approximately 2 to 3 direction changes or axis changes before your charge meter drops. Before we get into specific matchups, let's talk about general playstyle. Starting with Legendary. Legendary has the most trade-focused style of the 3, utilizing its high awakening, and shorter blade for ease of tip control. It has a good mix of trading and body shots. Main is similar in playstyle to Legendary, with the difference being the addition of length, giving more opportunity for body shots. Main incorporates more body shots in the mix than Legendary and can be very versatile. Legacy's playstyle incorporates high-speed hilt shots and wild body shots to win. This is his approach to most matchups. All 3 blades are viable, with each working to some extent in all levels of play, so choose whichever suits you, and swap them around for fun. Now on to a general gameplay tip, the Illusory Edge Breaker. Moving your sword in the Edge Breaker position frequently, while keeping your dagger held back to avoid using the Edge Breaker, is a great way to keep your opponent from knowing when you will actually use the Edge Breaker. When to use your daggers is not so cut and dry, and can be used in a variety of situations. Here's a list of potentially high-value usages for the dagger. Performing Edgebreaker right out of second wind can be a great way to throw your opponent off guard. And now on to the Viking matchup. The approach when fighting Viking, when using Legendary Duelist, is to go for max awakened tip trades due to your higher awakening. It can be a difficult matchup due to the threat of massive cut damage. This is because of their flexible awakening. Here are some examples of safe max awakened trades against the Viking. Here's an example of how offense can backfire during neutral game. When possible, striking the shield is an easy target for free value. When a Viking only has his axes left, he shall only use his axes. An anticipated axe is an easy axe to block. Since I'm playing Legendary here, I can safely tip trade against their Edgebreaker if I max my Awakened. Overall, the Viking matchup is a simple but difficult one. The Duelist's weakness in this matchup is its lack of flexibility compared to the Viking, leading to poor cut trades. Samurai is also a pretty simple matchup of trying to predict the blade path and intercept with max awakening to their hilt, while also mixing in body taps. Be sure to block their Edgebreaker with your dagger and anticipate their sidearms to take minimal damage. And most importantly, watch for awakened drops and exploit them. Here is a demonstration of how to predict the path for hilt shots, as well as exploit awakened drops. The most important thing to keep in mind here is to max your own awaken for good trades. And remember, Samurai leaves himself open due to their awakening and also their Edgebreaker, but be careful of Edgebreaker baits. When using main and legacy, body shots come quite a bit easier. This can be said for any matchup. The goal when fighting Barbarian is to avoid letting them touch the tip of your sword with theirs. This is almost always a bad trade for you. You need to get inside of their range and land cuts at least past the halfway mark. To fight Barbarian, you must wrap around their blade, either when they go in for an attack, or preemptively. Here is a series of defensive trades where I wrap around in reaction to their attack. Would you look at that? Oh yes, very nice. Barbarian has a speed limit on its Edgebreaker, making it easy to perform high awakened tip trades on it to nullify its effect, as seen here. Tip trades will be messing you up, yo. If they have already used their own Edgebreaker, you can bait out free hilt shots with your dagger by baiting with your own Edgebreaker. Another approach to trades is hunting down their hilt by rushing into their range. Tyrant. Tyrone. Duelist's easiest and hardest matchup. An unlearned Tyrant can be made quick work of by a Duelist and poses little to no threat. But a good Tyrant is like fighting a brick wall with your pinky toe. It hurts. The approach is similar to Barbarian, where you can either react to their shots, or you can hop in their range and get good cut. Be sure to avoid tip trades as well. Here is an example of a backstep to counterattack. And here's a clip of me playing footsies, getting in range, getting a good cut. Most Tyrants won't expect a body tap, With main and legacy, body taps are definitely an option. One of the best strategies is to become blessed by the servers, giving you absolute control. Here's a counterattack where I wait for them to go in and then bam. And remember, with enough effort against a good Tyrant, you may just die. Ironically enough, the primary threat of pirates are their secondaries. If you can anticipate their secondaries, you have a good chance of winning due to the ease of cut trades in the matchup. Here's a demonstration of just how easy cut trades can be. What? If you see them coming, edge breakers can be tip traded. Ideally, you want to use your dagger to block the edge breaker. You can also use your dagger to block longer secondaries. This pirate got their secondaries out a little too soon, which makes it easy to anticipate. If not caught off guard, maxing your awakening is a good way to deal with the dagger. As always, on main Duelist you can mix in more body taps, like this. When players have ward and have Edgebreaker active, they tend to get a little reckless and can be exploited with body taps. This pirate has no more secondaries. Edgebreaker is a great thing to use here. Oh yes, the hokey pokey meets the swooshy wooshy. Against Persians, you need to play defensively and out-awaken them. Going for cut is just asking to be hilt shot. Since they have no sidearms, waiting until they have no edgebreaker can help ensure you deal damage with your own. Utilizing extreme angles when blocking and attacking helps to get around the curved swords. Being consistent with your awakening can help you win trades, due to the inconsistency of their own at high speeds. Blocking their edgebreaker with your dagger or a max awaken trade is optimal. Letting the Persian get too close to you is asking for a body shot or a hilt shot. Play defensively. Play safe. And remember, cheeky body shots are available on all matchups. Maxing your awakening can turn a bad trade into an even or positive trade. You can keep your sword on one side of the Persian's body to reduce the threat of the opposite sword. This is easier to do on your dominant side. Here is a series of trades done by keeping a safe distance and maxing my awakening, or at least getting higher than theirs at high speeds. To win cut trades, you have to use an extreme angle to get around the curve of the Persian's blade. In this scenario, I keep my edgebreaker up to protect my sword and then block with my dagger. Since Persian has no secondaries and no edgebreakers left, they have to take the full brunt of my edgebreaker. Recording this video, I've realized Knight can be a pretty tough matchup for Duelist, requiring to win both cut and awaken trades, making it a simple yet difficult matchup, just like Viking. Winning cut is similar to the samurai matchup, utilizing extreme angles and predicting the blade path. If the knight is one-handing, you can awaken less and go more for cut. If they are two-handing, it is easier to max awaken and win cut. Just like any other matchup, an anticipated edgebreaker can be tip traded. Due to the shorter sword of the knight, just like Persian, you can play on the outside to force cuts and awaken drops. In this situation, the knight can only critical parry block or use his secondary. Knowing this, I anticipate the secondary and block it. And don't forget, we are the hokey pokey class, so mix in body taps every once in a while to throw them off. Do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Nah, it's a...
Oh, it's my technique.
I love pro...
Yeah, that's my
you don't regrow, you're gonna be in danger. Oh man.
You know what class I play competitive, like, you've seen them.
That was my bad. You think I'm gonna be greedy?
Oh, I know you are. I do.
Too greedy. Too greedy, in fact. On a secondary. That's what my technique is. Aw, you got me. You got me.